Right now, a San Diego Police Department officer sadly is dead, and another fighting for their life in the hospital after this deadly crash overnight. A suspect's car rammed into the SDPD SUV. We have continuing coverage of this tragic incident. So glad you're with us on this Tuesday. I'm Eric Connor.
And I'm Neda Irampour. There are still many questions about what led up to this fiery crash. We have team coverage for you. We're covering all angles on this developing story here. CBS 8's Chris Grow live outside of Sharp Hospital, where one officer is in critical condition right now. Regina Urita at the medical examiner's office, where some officers gathered to mourn today.
But first, let's check in with CBS 8's Kelly Hessedal to learn what led up to this incident. So many questions remain here, Kelly.
That's right. You know, we're at the 5200 block of Clairemont Mesa Boulevard. This is typically a busy area, but it is blocked off this morning. If you take a look behind me, you can still see that burned police SUV out here at the scene. You can see several yellow evidence markers nearby. So there were a total of 4 cars involved in this accident. You can see some of them are still out here. There were also witnesses who ran to help. In fact, one of our own CBS 8 photographers was leaving the station not far from here last night when he saw the police vehicle burst into flames in his rearview mirror. And so here's what the scene looked like just after 11:30 last night, just moments after this deadly collision. You see the flames, the firefighters using hoses to try and put out the burning police SUV. You could feel the tension in the air. Now, at one point, there was a bystander who tried to throw water on the car with a water bottle, but officers quickly pushed him back. So here's what we know so far. According to Chief Scott Wahl, police tried to stop a speeding car. The driver refused to pull over. There was a short pursuit, but because the suspect's car was going so fast, a supervisor called it off. Now, everything unfolded so quickly that 2 officers who were responding to this scene ended up colliding with the suspect's car. The officer driving the police vehicle died. The officer in the passenger seat is now fighting for his life at the hospital, and the suspect, we're told, died as well. So 2 other cars were also involved in this crash. We're told the drivers are all okay. This morning, loved ones of the fallen officer were out here at the scene. They were hugging, they were crying. You can imagine how painful this is for them, how heavy their hearts are today. At this point, the department has not officially released the names of the officer who died or the one who was critically injured. So back out here live at the scene. Now, because of the emotion behind all of this, SDPD, that is, has asked the CHB to conduct an independent investigation into exactly what happened. So still a lot of questions. But what I can tell you is that department is mourning and certainly praying for the recovery of that second officer. For more on that part of all of this, let's go to my colleague, Chris Grow, who is live at Sharp Hospital. Chris, what can you tell us?
It's been an extremely emotional day covering this story, especially when you look back at those remarks that Chief Scott Wahl made early this morning, sometime around 6:30. This is easily the toughest day here for him, as he's just been on the job as the top cop in San Diego since June. One of his officers killed in this crash, the other fighting for his life. And he delivered this message to the department, saying again that this is what he is telling his officers on this day.
Chief, what have you been telling your officers? What is your message to the San Diego Police Department at large?
Keep this officer's family in your prayers. Look out for one another right now. And we just finished giving lineup to the day watch officers. They got to go to work. There's a job to be done. And, you know, this is going to weigh heavy on their hearts. But we got a job to do. And I want each one of our officers to look out for each other as we grieve through this loss.
You heard that reiterated again, that they still have a job to do, despite the fact that one of their fellow officers is now dead and another one inside of Sharp Memorial Hospital, where there has been a constant presence of police officers today from the San Diego Police Department, as well as even other law enforcement agencies, trying to, again, send their best wishes and energy towards the recovery here of that officer who remains in the ICU. Now, we do not have any information about how it is that their progression could be or what their status is. Just again, that they were critical here in the ICU. We also do not know what their names are or how long they have been with the department. The department, again, has been releasing information in small bits here, and we could potentially be getting an update soon, but we have not gotten one at this time about how that officer is doing here that is here at Sharp Memorial Hospital. But what we can tell you, of course, that there has been an outpouring from the community, both those law enforcement community, but as well as others. There's been the motorcade, the procession that has made its way to different parts of town. And we understand the Regina Urita has been following a lot of that display of emotion that has been for that fallen officer, and as well as the one that is in recovery now. She's live in Kearney Mesa with more on that. Regina?
Yeah, that's correct. And this has been an extremely emotional day, very hard to cover, very heavy, especially because the San Diego Police Department lost their fellow officer. We heard from the chief talking about how police officers are constantly risking their lives for people they don't know. So to hear that one of their colleagues lost her life yesterday while at work is devastating. We actually noticed a procession going on since earlier this morning. I want to get to some video of what we captured earlier this morning. Since 5, we started to see the outpouring support from law enforcement. There were over a dozen police cruisers and motor vehicles lining up. This is a department who's grieving. Many of them were notified just hours ago about what had happened. Others who came to show support but have to go back and continue working while still processing that their brother or sister was killed. I can tell you it was emotional just standing there and seeing people hugging and crying. Hard to see possible family members of the police officer holding each other. And it wasn't just them or SDPD. This is law enforcement from different departments. By 7:30, the procession had started from the shopping center near where the initial crash happened on Clairemont Mesa Boulevard. It then continued along that stretch and eventually ended up here at the county medical examiner's office. There's not much going on outside of the building right now, but back out here, it has been a tough day, very hard to process. Many of them keeping those families in their prayers, as well as that second officer who is currently in the hospital in critical condition, as well as remembering that officer that they lost, unfortunately, last night. That's latest here in Kearney Mesa. Also, thanks back to you.
Yeah, certainly an emotional day. The entire department mourning, as are we, the community. It's been 8 years since we've had an officer killed in line of duty here with SDPD. Tough day. Thank you for that, Regina.
And we will, of course, continue to bring you the very latest updates from the scene and from the hospital.
You can stay up to date by following CBS 8 on social media, downloading our free CBS 8 app, or visiting CBS8.com.